Prahlad Kakkar is with me in the studio. I cannot tell you tonight how much outrage there is across the entire country. I cannot tell you what kind of messages and feedback we are getting. So many young people are today empathizing with the feeling that this man has shown a finger at the country, he has shown a finger at the law, he has shown a finger at the courts, he has shown a finger at the police and the entire system. And that's what's happening here. Krishna Prasad, let me get your reaction first. Let me first introduce my panelist tonight, the editor of the Mumbai Mirror, of the Bangalore Mirror, B. Mahesh, who's seen what's happened in Bangalore when the journalists got thrashed. Meenakshi Lekhi, senior advocate in the Supreme Court, also vice president of the BJP Mahila wing. With me in the studio, Ad Guru, Prahlad Kakkar, Sohail Seth of Councilage, joining us from Delhi. We also have Vinod Sharma with us. And of course, Krishna Prasad, my first question to the editor-in-chief of Outlook magazine. Krishna, you know, what do you make when this man shows the finger? He comes out and shows, first he's untraceable. The Mumbai police can't find him. The cameras find him and he shows the finger. What do you think he's actually doing there?
No, I think it's not very surprising at all that people are showing the middle finger to the media. And he's not the first politician to do so. If you just saw the news reports a fortnight back, a Punjab minister did the same. So what you are seeing from Punjab down to Karnataka with Maharashtra in between is people, whether it's politicians, whether it's the judiciary, whether it's statutory bodies, whether it's any kind of organization, showing a kind of contempt for the media, which basically is quite dangerous to our democracy. And speaking for myself, I must say that as a media person who's been around for over 25 years, I've never seen a worse face for the media. And I think, I must say this very, very bluntly, but very, very clearly, that we are in a state of emergency as far as the media is concerned, without emergency formally being proclaimed in this country.
Absolutely. So, Sohail, you see the pictures there of that man showing the finger? What comes to your mind? Now, let me tell you one second. Before you speak, Sohail, let me tell you something about this man, right? This man is called Narendra. And he has got wealth grossly disproportionate to his known sources of income. He earns crores of rupees. The court says we don't know where this outlandish sums of money, what he trades in, where the source of that money comes from. So clearly he is a master in corruption and using his father's name. That's all that this man has done. He shows the finger. What's going through your mind, Sohail, when you're seeing those pictures tonight?
No, I think we are just, as Krishna rightly said, we don't need to be surprised any longer. It's not about the middle finger or no. It's about contempt, it's about brazenness and their belief that they can get away. And they almost always do. Raja got caught, he's in jail, but that doesn't deter these rogues and rascals from continuing to be brazenly arrogant in the wake of what they've done. So what's going to happen here? Kripa Shankar Singh says he's resigning on moral grounds. But it's jokers like these who will keep getting tickets for fighting elections. And they will keep coming back to power. It may not be Kripa Shankar Singh, but another name, another person, but of the same hue and cry. So the reality is, the politician today has begun to shoot the messenger. Absolutely. And is not being affected by the message. The messenger in this case is the media. The message is that this country is fed up of rascals and rogues who continue to loot the public. We are tired of your nonsense, but you can't clean up your act. So if the media investigates and the media portrays you for the lumpen elements that you are, then you take out your ire at the media. Because you can't go and do the same thing in a court because you'll be hauled up for contempt. Yeah. And neither can you do that to your own political masters because you'll never find political refuge again. So they take it out on an unwilling, unsuspecting, and perhaps, as Krishna said, a weakened media in the light of this brazenness.
Absolutely, that's the question tonight. The fact is, you take on the media because you find the media irritating. Isn't that the point, Meenakshi? The media has become more and more irritating, including for your BJP government in Karnataka, which has displayed shocking levels of insensitivity for the lawyers in Karnataka who go on a rampage. Anyone who's questioned today finds the media irritating, they will show the finger at the media and therefore through that show the finger at the entire nation. The BJP is no different. In fact, it's excelled at that art in Karnataka. Let's show the pictures of what happened in Bangalore while you answer.
I don't agree with you on the last point.
Yeah.
No, I don't agree with the last point, but yes, brazenness, weak media, etc., everything is correct. But another point which has not been made is the brazenness and the weakness comes from media within. When it starts publishing biased reports, when it starts indulging in the similar acts of contempt and a similar kind of weaknesses which are found outside. So as an institution, even media, not in this particular case, but I'm otherwise making a general comment. In this particular case, the man should be hauled up. Anybody who behaves in this insane fashion needs to be taken to task, whoever it may be. That's the general statement. But at the same time, I want to make another point that media needs to start having a relook at themselves.
No, come on.
And I'm one person who's all for the freedom of media.
No, please tell me, 1 second, please tell me, you know, I want to ask you, why do you think the media should relook at the way it covered Porngate? Why do you think the media should relook at the way it questioned why Mamta's nephew slapped a policeman? Why should the media not get after Kripa Shankar Singh? When the media asks questions which are uncomfortable to you, then you say media must rethink.
Allow me to speak.
No, 1 second. As long as the media is asking questions convenient to you, it's doing a great job.
You are playing the positive stories about media. You're not playing the negative stories about media. The negative stories are there are journalists who work as let me give the example. You have given Porngate example. Let me give the other example. How media conducted itself. Let me give you the example.
Answer Porngate.
What happened? I'm answering you. Allow me to answer. When the press conference happened at Congress Party office, and Digvijay Singh, for showing a shoe to him, bet up that man, the media personnel who were present in that office acted as if they were stooges of Congress.
No, come on. I think that's a gross generalization.
Since when have...
I think it's a gross generalization.
This is a question being put at the media.
It's a complete...
Because media will, as a journalist, you will have a...
again, shoot the messenger.
Tomorrow for Congress.
Shoot the messenger.
You can't be holding brief for any political party. But when you start holding brief...
People are watching today what's happening, Meenakshi.
You reduce your role from being a messenger to...
I am asking you today, the person inside the court is a BJP man.
I am also putting my point
The person inside the court was a BJP man. How is report?
You are repeatedly. Why are you repeatedly playing the Porngate? Why are you not repeatedly playing? Why are you not repeatedly paying Digvijay Singh beating
I will ask the questions that I want to.
Participating in that beating.
I will not ask questions that are convenient to you.
No. Again,
this is the problem with politicians.
That is being unfair depiction.
This is the problem with politicians. You only want to hear the questions that are convenient to you.
You have to play both stories, and that's why I say media also needs to have a relook.
I want to know.
This is abhorrent. All this is incorrect.
Yeah, sure.
At the same time, Porngate is over. Those people have been suspended. They are no longer attending. You've done your job. Get on with it. Move on to the next story. But
move on with it. Move on with it. Forget. Go. Excellent, Meenakshi. This argument is beautiful, isn't it? You've done your job. Can you move on with it? Can you let us get on with it? Sohail wants to respond. I think Sohail's been provoked to respond. So has Prahlad Kakkar to respond. Prahlad, you want?
I think that's the problem.
Yeah, move on.
Because I don't think the media should move on. The media should follow through. The media should ensure and should make sure that these guys in Porngate or whatever, and it's not about the BJP. Is hamam mein sab nange hain. So it's about any politician or anyone in public life who's caught doing what he's doing. There should be a follow through from media. I don't think the media should move on.
Agree.
You know, this is not a trapeze artist's performance.
One second, Meenakshi, before you come in, Meenakshi, I'm getting Prahlad Kakkar and Vinod Sharma also wants to come in after that.
In a democratic setup like this country, which desperately needs a free media to be able to do what the CBI, what the government itself has not been able to do to itself, or even the political parties, regardless of whether they're in the opposition or they're in power, can actually control their own so-called sartaps who get away with murder, who get away with anything they want.
Yeah.
I mean, today, if you take a snap poll today on your television channel and find out who's more credible, politicians as a class or media as a class.
Exactly.
I mean, nobody is absolutely white and painted and virginal. But the fact is that if you look at the credibility of both institutions, today the public is willing to go with the media and not with the politicians.
Yeah, when we do a job exposing corruption that suits the BJP, the BJP hails us.
No, you better
when we question the BJP, you become stooges for the Congress. You know, this typecasting now is most predictable, and in fact it's a little boring. 1 second, Vinod Sharma. I'm going to join Vinod Sharma tonight.
Can I say something?
No, let Vinod Sharma come in. He's a journalist, but he still retains the right to speak. Yes, Vinod Sharma, please. Vinod Sharma still retains the right to speak.
I'm glad that you aren't a journalist. I'm happier that you aren't the editor of any newspaper, because if you were the editor of any newspaper, you wouldn't allow any follow-up stories to be published.
Correct.
May I tell you that every politician wants a pliant media.
Exactly.
This is my experience. And the moment, for the period that you praise them, you are writing stories which glorify them, they are happy. But the moment you digress from the given brief, you become the villain of the piece. And this has happened from government to government. May I recall long years ago when Morarji Desai committed a blunder on the floor of the House saying that JP is dead. You know, and JP wasn't dead. The government was in red face. It was totally red-faced. And what they started an inquiry against a news agency. And luckily, that news agency had said in its first bulletin on the PM statement, JP dead, PM informed, Parliament informed. So that agency could get out of the clutches of the government. Even the government of Morarji Desai was looking for alibis, were looking for scapegoats when it went wrong. May I tell you that the opposition of the day today wouldn't have been all that powerful, or wouldn't have had that moral high ground vis-a-vis the government of the day, but for the media. It was consistent, it was the consistent performance of the media across television channels, across newspapers that bring out the Commonwealth Games scam, that brought out the 2G scam, and that is where you people got empowered. Now for you tonight, to tell us as to how we do our job, I'm sorry, we know how to do our job. We may at times be uncomfortable so far as the BJP is concerned. We may not be liked by the Congress, we may not be liked by the left. We were hated by the left
until loved by the Congress,
they lost power in West Bengal. And now we are hated by Mamata Banerjee. The fact remains that an unpopular journalist is the best journalist.
Absolutely.
And that is where I think Lawrence should go Goswami, because I have disagreed with him on this channel, but he has kept up the tempo and he has kept up his good work. At the end of the day, what matters is how much empowerment are we transmitting to the people of this country through exposing, through dissemination of information.
One minute, Meenakshi, I want to go to the editor of the Bangalore Mirror also, because question is tonight. I will tell you what happens. You know, if you give Kripa Shankar Singh a platform, you'll get an exclusive interview. If you ask him a tough question, he'll run away from you.
No, I'm not.
1 second. Let's see the pictures. Times now, cameras get Kripa Shankar's son showing us the finger. No, 1 minute. See the pictures tonight. To the people of the country, I want to show the pictures. Times Now does not have an exclusive interview with Kripa Shankar Singh. Kripa Shankar Singh will not give Times Now an exclusive interview, I'm sure. But his son will show us the finger.
That is my point.
His son will show us the finger, that's fine. I'd rather live with his son showing us the finger than giving Kripa Shankar Singh or his son a platform. And I think that's the job for the media in this country. Question goes out to the editor of the Bangalore Mirror. To the editor of the Bangalore Mirror, my question is, please let him come in. B. Mahesh, you're hearing this staunch defense of the way the media has been treated in Bangalore by Meenakshi Lekhi. I want your view as the editor of one of the leading dailies in Bangalore. What do you make of it?
Right now, the political class in Bangalore hates media. They hate the media. Today, the lawyers, when they were attacking the media, in full view of some 200 personnel from the police, they were just watching it in the morning. They wanted the lawyers and the journalists to sort it out. And surprise, surprise, the only person smiling today was Janata Reddy, who was brought from an AP prison to the court for a case. And there was a free-for-all. And the police didn't want to intervene.
Why?
So, because of the Porngate scandal and, hello?
Why did the police not intervene in your view? Were they actually scared that, you know, the media was not on the right side of the government? There's no point helping them?
I think so. I think they wanted, because the police were angry with the lawyers for the earlier case, the January case, when they held the entire city to ransom because one lawyer was allegedly beaten by a cop, and that cop was suspended. So, and the police have no love lost for journalists anyway.
Yeah.
So they wanted to just be bystanders and then see, the lawyers and
which brings me to
journalists fight it out.
Which brings me to the moot point. One of our reporters recently, last week, asked Mamata Banerjee's, a tough question on why people were being killed in Birbhum. Party workers turned around and called our reporter a CPM agent.
True.
But
all politicians hide behind some kind of a feeble excuse. It's not credible when you guys come on national television and talk rubbish, where it's not sustainable as an argument. What do you think your public thinks? You must understand that, when you turn around and make irresponsible statements about what politicians should do and what reporters should do and what they shouldn't do and how to teach them the job. There's a huge public sitting there and watching and saying yay or nay. You all don't seem to care about anything. Once you come into power, 5 years you're sitting on a seat, you don't care about what anybody thinks. You think that public memory is that short. It is up to the media to make sure that public memory is not short. That they're constantly reminded and revisit places. If media had not done the Jessica Lal, due diligence, it would have never been reopened.
Yeah, point is taken. Meenakshi, yes, Meenakshi wants to respond. Go ahead, Meenakshi.
What I'm saying is I am in complete agreement with all that is being spoken. But what I am questioning is there are journalists who work as stooges of the political party.
Come on,
There are people who are doing license deals and other things. Why aren't you showing and playing those stories?
1 second. What are we talking about tonight?
I'm questioning those negative aspects. I'm not saying.
No, I know you're not happy when somebody reports on Gujarat.
I'm saying media is doing.
Tonight we are not talking about how the media should cover Gujarat.
Because then I'll tell you what is my unhappiness about it.
Tonight
you
we are asking.
You made a person who has changed. Allow me to speak then. You have made Zakia Zafari a household name.
Oh, come on.
Whereas this lady has changed her statement couple of times. How many Hindus have died? Not one story being played. Even Hindus have suffered. You are making it to be a case where only Muslims have suffered.
Beat them up.
That is biased reporting.
So beat up the journalists. By your logic, beat up the journalists.
I'm not saying you're not doing a good job. I'm saying you're doing a good job. Make it wonderful. Make it unbiased.
Beat them up.
Where you are not doing that.
Beat them up. Beat them up. Teach them a lesson. That seems to be the response.
Nobody has a right to beat up anybody. Nobody has a right to beat up anybody. But all I'm saying is, please look at yourself. And you also need a correction. Please.
This is no 1 minute.
One is a lawyer.
In your system too. You correct everybody, which is fine.
People who are covering,
but you need to correct
is a lawyer
too.
Meenakshi, listen. Meenakshi, yeah.
As well, say.
Go on, sir.
Meenakshi is a lawyer first and a politician later, I hope. So let me destroy that argument for forever.
Yes, absolutely.
The fact that Meenakshi can raise a point of order in a panel discussion on television such as this evening means that the media is willing to listen to an alternate argument. Is the politician willing to? No. How does the politician behave? The politician behaves with hooliganism of the highest order. The politician believes it is his birthright to rule without accountability.
Yes.
The politician believes it is his right to loot public money without being answerable. The media is playing the role of policeman and inquisitor as it should, because other institutions other than the courts have completely failed the system.
I'm with you on that.
So why should we as a public body or as general citizens of this country repose our faith in the very politicians? Prahlad talked about the fact that these guys don't even listen to national news programs. They are not part of India. They are part of their own cliques. They are part of their own ruling coteries. Their hangers-on tell them what is right and what is wrong. Morality has not been virtuous for them for a long time. I think the media must play its role. You will be shown the finger. I'm surprised, Rodolfo, that you still haven't been beaten up. I hope that never happens. But this is the reality. You see offices being vandalized, television channel stations being vandalized. Is this the kind of response from intelligent people who are supposed to run a country of 1.1 billion people?
Why should I?
The tragedy is we allow these Johnnies to get away time after time.
Krishna's also faced threats. We all face threats. We all face this situation. Krishna, please go ahead. Krishna, please. Yeah.
No, I don't know if it's 10 o'clock, 3 minutes and 20 seconds. I don't know whether Ms. Meenakshi Lekhi is a smoker. And whatever she smokes, I would like to smoke tonight.
Well, I'm not.
And for the simple reason, I don't know
Please
from
go
which
ahead.
planet she's coming from. I really don't know which planet she's coming from.
Your planet.
I don't know
I'm
whether
very
she can
much
recognize
aware
a
of
middle
your
finger
deeds too.
from plain,
Your meaning,
straightforward
media.
crime. She must know what's happened in Bangalore this morning. What's happened in Bangalore this morning is not about Zaki Ansari.
You know what
it's
happened
not
in
about
2G.
any
Ah,
other
listen to him, ma'am. Listen to him. Listen to him.
What's happened in
Listen
Bangalore
to him.
is straightforward crime, which the cops of Bangalore, which the government of Bangalore, which the government of Karnataka, which is the BJP government, has willfully, deliberately and clearly ignored. And what is she talking about? I mean, I think we're just chasing the wrong end of the stick here. I mean, we can talk endlessly about whether the media is doing the right job or the wrong job. I think the safest finger so far today is the middle finger. What's happened in Bangalore is not about the middle finger. What's happened in Bangalore is much worse, much more dangerous than what Miss Meenakshi Lekhi, wherever she's sitting, can imagine. And this is not what the media is supposed to go through. The media has done a fantastic job with all its faults. But the sheer simple point is that we need to be able to recognize the middle finger.
Yeah, and let me tell you, Meenakshi Lekhi.
The media is doing its job in covering Porngate or whatever else that Miss Lekhi is concerned about. The issue is here about
1 minute, ma'am. Please listen.
Television journalists, beating print journalists, destroying Obi-Wans. I mean, what kind of stuff are we talking about? Miss Lekhi belongs to the BJP. Mr. Advani goes around talking still 35 years later about media having crawled when he was just asked to bend.
Exactly,
what is he talking about Bangalore and Karnataka and the BJP government there?
Exactly.
This is plain, straightforward shit.
Exactly.
May I also come in here?
Yeah, go on, please listen. No, let the journalist speak.
Party or any government.
1 minute, Meenakshi Lekhi.
Miss
Lekhi, let him speak.
You've got to hear some four-letter words.
The basic principle of democracy is that when you have had a lot of time to state your piece, you must have the patience to listen to others. And if you listen to us, you'll have a more balanced view of journalists. May I say that indeed there are black sheep amongst us, like there are black sheep amongst lawyers. May I remind you that we have no section of the media has reported what happened in the Supreme Court Bar Association meeting some weeks back, consequent to a Supreme Court order, where there was a distinction was sought to be made by the Supreme Court order between practicing members and non-practicing members. You know what happened there, and that hooliganism has not been reported because that was behind closed doors. Because the people who were the receiving end of that hooliganism were reputed lawyers appointed by the Supreme Court in a 3-member committee to make that distinction between practicing and non-practicing lawyers of the Supreme Court Bar Association. Now what you see today is on the streets, the lawyers who are expected to defend me against violation of law are taking the law in their own hands. They're making a mincemeat of it. Are you going to defend that? Miss Lekhi, you are not just BJP.
No, I'm
you are
not.
inadequate yourself. You are, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be personal, but you are the daughter-in-law of a very well-known, renowned lawyer of this country. Your husband is a very, very well-known, renowned lawyer in this country. Why do you have to take this position? It is indefensible. You are defending the indefensible. Like you defend the indefensible, what happened in Gujarat, you are defending the indefensible in Karnataka. Why do you do this?
Meenakshi, before you come in,
just take it back. Miss Lekhi, why do you want to lose every case that you take up in popular perception?
The only question tonight is this. Simple question. I want to show the pictures. 1 second, Meenakshi. It's not about you. You see the pictures of what happened in Bangalore. And the police were mute spectators. Now, why should I and the people of this country not connect the dots and say the journalists are being beaten up for exposing Porngate? The journalists are being beaten up for asking questions about the mining scandal. The journalists are being thrashed and the police is doing nothing about it because they caught 3 ministers watching pornography in the assembly. And therefore, this is a pre-planned, deliberate attack. Why can't that question be asked? When that question is asked, Meenakshi Lekhi, why are you so much on the defensive? Why can't you say that, yes, there is a possibility there and we should investigate it?
I'm not on the defensive. I am saying I am in complete agreement with what Mr. Vinod Sharma has said, and all I'm saying is there are black sheeps everywhere. Unfortunately, the black sheeps in media don't get exposed. Please expose your own kith and
Tonight
kin
I'm asking you about...
as you are exposing everybody else.
1 second.
What are you saying?
Sohail, say.
Talking about? What is she talking about?
Sohail.
From which planet is she coming from?
What, you don't have such people?
You know, tell me, I want to ask Meenakshi, and not just Meenakshi. Meenakshi is only symptomatic of a larger malaise. The question that I want to pose to Meenakshi is, do you think we will be a more reformed political system if you blame the media?
If you beat the media?
Or if you point fault with the media? Yeah. I think it's not about the media versus the politician.
No.
It is the fact that people in public life have the right to be accountable to the people who seemingly voted them to power. That is the logical reality. So everyone, media and citizen alike, have every goddamn right to question you, and you have no right to show your middle finger or your index finger or whatever the hell you want to show.
Absolutely.
You cannot indulge in hooliganism, you can't beat up people, you can't show your power which has been rudely obtained in order to prove an unseeming point. That, Meenakshi, is the reality.
No, if
we don't grudge you your power, we don't grudge you your BJP or the Congress or the BHP. But the fact is, someone's got to be accountable. And you'll have
I want to come in on a point here where you will find that unscrupulous politicians use media to use it as a platform, and media falls into that trap a lot of times. Look at Ram Sene. Look at MNS, what do you call, beating up all the North Indians in...
Prahlad Kakkar, you know, that man showed us the finger, right? Yeah. We're not giving that man a platform. Because we are not giving him a platform, he's showing the finger. But he's not showing the finger at the media. I don't think his son is showing the finger at Times Now. He's showing the finger at the entire country.
Yes.
I give a damn, he says. Catch me if you can.
He says, what he says is, do what you want, I'll get you.
You got a better story.
Arnab,
you got a better story. The guy showing you the finger. That makes for a great visual. That shows the man for his character.
For his character.
Had you gotten an interview with him, he would launched into a long, meandering discourse, monologue, which would have made no sense,
Yeah.
I know that gentleman who showed you the finger, his father I know pretty well. He's not a very erudite politician like most politicians. And sometimes I feel that even when erudite lawyers join politics, they cease to be erudite, I'm not making a specific reference to anyone. Yeah. But it's a fact.
Yeah, Krishna Prasad.
As we have you have seen the demonstration of that of this program.
Absolutely.
I think the middle
Krishna Prasad.
It stretches from lawyers to cricketers.
Party, they lose their erudition too. That's the point.
Krishna Prasad. Let's not get personal. Krishna Prasad. Krishna Prasad wants to have a word in tonight, and I don't think the people of this country. I don't think. No, let's not make it between
Meenakshi wants to break up.
No, one
second. Let us speak now.
No, question tonight is one sec. Question tonight is simply, Meenakshi, 1 minute. The people of this country, Meenakshi, please listen, Meenakshi. Please listen, Meenakshi. Mamata Banerjee's nephew slaps a politician, right? A policeman, okay? You won't touch a politician.
No, cop.
Yeah. So what is it? Kripa Shankar's son shows the middle finger. The Mumbai police can't find Kripa Shankar Singh, right? All of this has happened. Overall tonight, and journalists have been thrashed living daylights out of them in Bangalore. I don't think the people of this country are foolish enough not to see the science there and connect the dots. They'll see the science, connect the dots, and they'll come to their conclusion. I don't think they'll be silent today if the media has made a non-stop target in the way that it's becoming of late. Krishna Prasad, your final thoughts tonight on the big debate. Krishna.
I think Arnab, the middle finger salute is something we should live with. I think it's all right if we are shown the middle finger by cricketers or by politicians or by anybody else. I think what you're looking at is violence of an order which is really unexceptionable, and I think should not be pardoned. At the same time, I don't think this is such a very simple issue. I think there's a growing cynicism about the media, not just among politicians, not just among judges or lawyers or whoever else. I think there's a general cynicism, and I think that's the kind of cynicism that you're seeing largely as a fallout of the BJP regime. And it's been spread even more so by the current press council chairman, who's gone out of his way to sue, to sow thoughts about journalists, about their intellect, about their duties and responsibility and so on and so forth. I think what you're seeing is a larger cynicism about the media, and I think it's pretty dangerous simply because I think you cannot ignore the fact that the media, for all its faults, has been doing a fantastic job, whether it's the scams or whether it's anything else.
Totally.
But the simple point is that I think the BJP is beating around the wrong bush in Bangalore, and I think they need to have better fish to fry very soon.
Well, absolutely. Well, Krishna Prasad, Sohail Seth, Vinod Sharma, Meenakshi Lekhi, Prahlad Kakkar and B. Mahesh tonight, on a night when the media is once again the target. Well, I would only like to say one thing at the end. I'm not worried that that man who's amassed so much wealth is showing us the middle finger. I would be more worried if his father were to choose Times Now to give an exclusive interview. That would get me really worried. It doesn't worry me that his son shows us the finger. That means we are doing our job. Thank you very much for joining me on the News Hour.